Hi, this is Joe from Stratus, and the Yale School of Management has released their essay questions for the 2024-2025 application cycle. They are keeping the same 3 essay choices from last year, and I'll name them and go over tips for those in a moment. SOM not only invites, but also encourages you to choose the prompt that speaks most to you. So feel free to pick the question that you think can communicate you and your values the best. There is no one right prompt. So be honest with yourself about which question gives you the best opportunity to demonstrate your fit with SOM and its values. The AdCom is truly trying to get to know you and what matters to you, so be honest and as open as possible, and be sure to tell stories. Your essay should not read as dry academic accountings of one aspect of your life, so make sure this part of you comes alive in your writing. For the first 2 prompts, the information you'll provide in your essay response will not likely overlap with any other information about you that the admissions committee can glean from the rest of your application. It is a great chance to show the school who you are beyond your resume and transcripts, what makes you tick, and what you are passionate about. While some information about your most significant challenge may be gleaned from your resume, there will be a lot of gaps for you to fill in, so take advantage. So now we're going to take each prompt one by one. Describe the biggest commitment you have ever made. Why is this commitment meaningful to you, and what actions have you taken to support it? This is a 500-word maximum. This is the second year that second sentence where they ask, why is this commitment meaningful to you, has been part of the prompt. Really, that was always inherently part of what you should have described in your answer, but it appears that Yale SOM and their admissions committee has felt the need to be explicit about that element. Another way of framing this essay is that the admissions committee wants to know what commitment means to you. So it is not enough to just name your commitment. You have to demonstrate how you have followed through with it. We encourage you to not think too narrowly in defining commitment. You might immediately think of committing to a person or a goal, of course, but you should also think of committing to a value, a cause, a lifestyle, a project. You get the idea. Really run through all the possible options from both your personal life and your career to find the one thing that has captured your devotion above all else. Consider what excites you and what your passion is. If you choose something finite, such as a goal or project, you'll likely end up sharing a single anecdote in your essay. But if you want to illustrate your commitment to a cause, ideal, or the like, then your essay will be more effective if you describe multiple events or situations that underscore your allegiance. That said, at only 500 words aloud, you will have to be judicious in how you approach describing your various examples. Ask yourself why you made this commitment in the first place, and convey your motivation in the essay as well. Also consider any challenges you faced. How has the commitment evolved over time? What parts of your life does it affect? Especially if this might not be immediately obvious to the outsider. You can treat this as a Joseph Campbell-style hero's journey, taking the reader along a narrative that exemplifies your perseverance. Often a good structure begins with the aha moment that started you on the path towards this commitment, followed by the trials and tribulations that nearly took you off of the path. But don't fall for the trap of making this a laundry list of challenges, as you need to leave room for describing what actions you took to overcome the challenges and what outcomes resulted from your efforts. Finally, share any lessons you have learned as a result of your dedication. How have you grown personally since making the commitment? Prompt choice number 2 is describe the community that has been most meaningful to you. What is the most valuable thing you have gained from being a part of this community, and what is the most important thing you have contributed to this community? This is a 500-word maximum. There is no limitation to what the AdCom is looking for in terms of community. So do not feel the need to make this strictly a professional community or a cliched, strict definition of where you grew up. We all touch and become parts of many communities, so consider which one had the largest impact on who you are today. Of your 3 choices of prompts, this one is perhaps the most likely to elicit a story regarding race, ethnicity, or another marginalized group. In light of the 2023 Supreme Court decision on affirmative action, this may cause you pause. However, the decision from the Supreme Court still allows applicants to discuss how race or ethnicity affected their lives. So do not feel like you have to shy away from a community that is based on ethnicity. SOM wants to know you and how you became the person that you are today. So if a race-based, religious-based, or some other based community is the one most meaningful to you, then discuss that authentically. Ask yourself why you feel so connected to this community and express why you have been driven to remain a contributing part of this group. Structurally, this likely will not require you to follow a hero's journey, but beginning with a specific story of how you became connected to and empowered by the community would be a great place to start your essay. From there, you can demonstrate why this community is important, what lessons you learned from it, and the contributions you have made to the community. And the third and final choice in prompts is describe the most significant challenge you have faced. How have you confronted this challenge, and how has it shaped you as a person? This also, of course, has a 500-word maximum. This throwback question is the most classic essay of the three choices. As such, it is pretty straightforward in that you will discuss the challenge pretty directly. However, while it is relatively clear-cut, that does not mean your answer has to be boring. As with the other choices in prompts, you should tell this as a story so that the reader feels engaged. It is quite possible for your most significant challenge to not at all be work-related, and that's perfectly fine. It is fair game to discuss something from your personal or academic life, so long as it is, in fact, the most meaningful story to you. Ask yourself what made this challenge so significant to you and how you developed the plan to address it. The CAR, or Challenge Action Result, outline format would be the most appropriate choice for this essay. You'll start by briefly describing the challenge, then use the bulk of your answers to describe the actions you took to address the challenge, with any relevant twists and turns along the way. And wrap your answer up with the result of your efforts. When discussing the result, be sure to include the lessons you learned through the process and how you'll take those lessons with you going forward. So those are the three prompts and our suggestions, specific suggestions for each one. All of these questions, and therefore your potential answers, really are as wide open as they sound. In other words, there is no one right answer. And the admissions committee is not looking for any particular one answer. So you must be completely genuine. Your essay will not ring true to the admissions reader if you claim dedication to something, like in the commitment essay, a deep connection to one population, like in the community prompt, or a huge turnaround in the challenge prompt, but then only have shallow evidence to support your claim. Whatever you choose to discuss, you need to have a sincere and meaningful connection with it. Maybe your biggest commitment is playing the piano, improving your spoken English, or helping your parents as they age. Perhaps your most meaningful community is your city, your neighborhood, your place of worship, or your ethnicity. It may be that your most significant challenge is learning your study skills in school, dealing with a family member's health issues, or attacking a particularly difficult project at work. These are examples that I've used with my clients, that I might have chosen myself. These are all fair game. Don't be afraid to share these kinds of stories if they are truly central to who you are and how you live your life. Whichever prompt you choose to answer, it is not necessary to try and add a why Yale tag at the end. I know it's very tempting. Most people try to do it because they think it's a trick, that there wasn't a why Yale answer or question in there. But the admissions committee really only wants you to answer a complete story to the prompt at hand. So only tie back into Yale if it is relevant and you have the space to address appropriately. If you do believe such a discussion to be appropriate, then share how your commitment, community, or challenge sets you up to contribute to the Yale community in a meaningful way. Alternatively, if your commitment, community, or challenge is related to your career aspirations, share what you plan to do at Yale to continue to engage with your interest or passion. And as with most schools, there is a standard optional essay prompt where they ask if any aspect of your application requires additional explanation. Please note you should use the specific prompts provided in the work experience section to address gaps in work experience or choice of recommender. So those stories will be handled elsewhere. So the optional essay really is for other things. And this optional essay is just that. It is, in fact, optional. So as such, this should always be approached judiciously. If you feel that your application already conveys a complete, accurate picture of who you are as a candidate, then you should probably refrain from submitting an optional essay. You have little to gain from adding to the admissions committee's workload by asking them to read another essay that doesn't add anything specific, significant, or compelling to your profile. But if you have something truly unique to share that you believe would make you stand out, or if you have an issue of some sort like a low test score or a low undergraduate GPA, and that you need to explain as part of your candidacy, then this is your chance to share or clarify it. So, if you have found this to be helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned to Stratus on YouTube and our socials for more updates and tips, and thank you for your time.